BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs. And there's more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC. And in between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino. All the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino action. So BetOnline, the game starts here. Joe, get this graphic ready. All right, so the next one is from Paul Silver. The subject is predictable a bad thing. Right now, the big angle on Raw is a new dangerous alliance of Heyman, Rollins, and Breaker being the top heel faction on Raw. I've been watching wrestling for quite a while, so this faction means that one thing that you can bet the house on. Seth Rollins versus Bron Breaker at WrestleMania 2026. My question is, though, is being able to clearly see outcomes really bad? Personally, I'm honestly enjoying seeing the rise of the faction. Want to see how it will inevitably lead to their big breakup later this year, early in 2026. What do you guys think, though? Do you think the predictable stories are fine, or do you think that a swerve bro should always be the ending? How do you, bro, Paul? How do you know this?
Paul,
this guy's making general assumptions like he's a genius, or like, well, okay, we'll just see this, okay? Because what we're gonna do is, because you're so arrogant in talking about this, that if when 2026 comes around, all right, we're going to suspend you for a year from the mailbag if this doesn't happen. Was that
Can
fair?
you write that down, Joe? Because we'll
write
forget.
that, Joe. Paul Silver, year suspension pending.
So let me say two things. Number one, there's only one genius on the show besides me, and it's Disco, because he guessed Usual Suspects in 20 minutes, which I find ludicrous. Okay, and untrue. The other thing I wanted to say is, dude, everybody ends up breaking up. Doesn't matter who it is, whether they're tag team partners, whether they're brothers, whether they're a faction. That's how you keep the story going.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it's like if you watch a soap opera, like soap operas that have been around for like over 10 years, invariably, because my mom used to watch All My Children, and you remember the lead character was Erica, or what was her name?
I don't know.
She was very famous. Anyways, she was a real heel, like the biggest heel on TV. Next thing you know, she was a baby face.
Yep.
You know?
And probably hooked up with everybody on the show more than once, and yeah. But that's not that prediction is all right. But you got to remember, he's considering they'll break up. People thought the bloodline was going to be a lot shorter lived than it was. So you might not be right. You know,
you never know. Yeah. Okay, so next is from our boy Mike Durbin.
Were you talking about Susan Lucci, Konnan?
Sometimes in life, if you want to get to the truth, you have to look at the numbers. Unfortunately, 50% of all dogs over 10 years old will die of cancer, and the other 40 to 50% suffer miserably from skin issues or joint problems. And this is widely attributed to your dog's diet. These numbers are what inspired Dr. Dennis Black to create Ruff Greens. With thousands of testimonials and 5-star reviews every month, Ruff Greens is now the #1 all-natural dog supplement in America. They've helped millions of pups, like mine, stay active and be healthy. And your pup could be next. Fetch a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. You just cover shipping. Go to ruffgreens.com. Just use promo code DISCO. That's RUFFGREENS.com. Promo code DISCO. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Ruff Greens. Okay, let's go to the Patreon mailbags. Start off with our boy, our resident booker from Sportskeeda, Brian Dunlop, Patreon member. Brian Dunlop from New York asked K100 if Bronson Reed is the right pick for Seth Rollins' faction. If not, who would you choose? For WWE Saturday Night's main event aired last month, Dr. Chris Featherstone predicted Reed is the right guy for Seth's stable. Still, Vince Russo thinks it'd be someone like Johnny Gargano. The logic is that Reed and Braun Breaker were getting over by themselves, and you pick a guy for the stable who is struggling to get over. I see Triple H's logic in that Reed was in a major angle before he was injured, and now he's immediately back in a top-level storyline. But is he the right guy for the job? What about Otis, Trick Williams, Karrion Kross, Ilya Dragunov when he returns? Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. So, Seth Rollins recruits Big Bronson after the guy tried to end his career with numerous tsunami splashes? The IWC was naming Austin Theory for Reed's spot in the faction. Triple H must not be digging Theory. Am I right? What a huge drop-off for that guy in the main roster. I also saw fans throwing around Carmelo Hayes' name for the group. I'm going to give you an outlier for the group, and I think it makes perfect sense, and I don't know why they haven't pulled the trigger on this or even flirted with this idea, is Becky Lynch. her and Seth are married. You know what? I mean, I don't know why they're I don't know why they're separate on the show. Like, if everybody, their mother knows they're married in real life, I would say she would have been good. Paul Heyman's never managed a girl before.
Yeah, and last time they were together, they were like the main event babyface team, so they'd never been together as heels.
I don't know, but I got no problem with Bronson Reed. I don't know why anybody would, to be honest with you. So, you got any comment on this, Konnan?
Well, I like Bronson Reed. First of all, this guy's name is Chris Featherstone, doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, is he
the
a
guy
doctor?
He
or
always
is he
gets
Indian?
referenced like he's some great prognosticator of wrestling or something, but I don't know.
Question: do you know if he's a doctor or an Indian or Native American?
No, people call him. He's the guy that he posted last week and echoed coach's comments that Vince McMahon is interested in buying the WWE back from TKO. Okay.
Right.
And I was like talking about so I quoted this guy and I said wow, this is interesting. Coach said that first. Now you're repeating that and saying this is source. And how funny is it that Coach does a show with Vince Russo and you do a show with Vince Russo? I wonder who the source is of this story. And he said, "Nice try again." When I put that, I'm like, God, dude, this isn't even a story. Vince McMahon being interested in buying back TKO is not a story.
Right, because it's not going to happen.
Right, until there's actually some forward progress. Like Vince Russo, makes an offer.
Bro, look,
right,
at the end of the day, they just bought the company, and they're starting to make money with them. Now, if this guy Featherstone did predict Reed, that was a great prediction. Okay, Russo does have a point that somebody like Gargano that needs to be put over, but I'd rather have Reed every day of the week. And he threw some great names out there. I heard Trick, I heard Carrion. Okay. I wouldn't have minded Austin. He said Austin or Waller?
Both.
I wouldn't have minded either of those either. I mean, there's a lot of guys you could put in there. And I wouldn't even mind Becky so they can face girls. But so there's a lot of good people you could put in there.
And according to this Dr. Chris Featherstone does have a PhD in forensic psychology.
Interesting.
And he's a black guy, not an Indian.
What's a Featherstone?
Somebody said
is that his real? Yeah.
Yeah, it's his real name. So
yes, it is. Yeah.
You know what too I like about Bronson Reed is he's kind of like Abdullah the Butcher.
Right.
Okay. In that his character is very simplistic, kind of, because to get heat. Remember when Abdullah would come in and he would just continuously drop the elbow on people,
right? Like
3 or 4 times, like he's going to kill that. That's what the Tsunami is,
right?
It's kind of like the Abdullah elbow drops. It's like he's like a devastating spear, right? Yeah. So it's like I like that. Like he doesn't have to do much.
Right.
He just hit the ring, boom, and this Tsunami the guy 3 or 4 times. You get the good heat. So.
Right.
I used to love Abdullah.
And they did a great. And he did a great job of getting that finish over.
Yeah. The Abdullah the Butcher elbow drop is to me, as if those simplistic was the best finishes ever because he was huge, like big fat. It looked like.
Let me throw another one in there. One of my all-time favorites. How about the splash from Earthquake for the 5 count?
Yeah, when he did that
was Bundy.
He bounced around the guy
Bundy?
like he was creating like an earthquake. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like that too. I like the bouncing around. Bundy did the 5 count. I like both.
Yeah, Bundy was a 5 count. Yeah.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.